Welcome back to my channel, Obsessed with Christmas. I'm Rebecca, and today we're going to do part 2 of our observatory series. This should be the finale, so we've already done all the painting. We are going to now apply rocks and lichen and grass, the dead grasses, because it's winter in the village up north, because that's where mine is located. We'll put some snow as well, and that should just about finish it off. Stay tuned. Everything you see is what I'm going to use to landscape our platform. I bought some lichen from Woodland Scenics. I use mostly Woodland Scenics products because we have a local hobby shop, Lionheart Hobby, shout out to them. And then also lichen in natural, because this is winter. My village, I think it helps personally if you create some sort of story, which we'll get into the story of my village later. But I think it helps if you create a story. This is some talus, which just means rock. We have some clump foliage in light green, and I've got some in dark green, which is out of camera range. Then I have static grass, which you can use the static grass applicator to make it stand up. But in my village, again, it's winter, everything is dead, and so is flat. It lays down. This is some glue, Woodland Scenics glue for the things like the clump foliage and the rocks. This is glue that I just, they're scenic glue that comes in a bottle. And they do have a spray bottle for it. It's not very good though. I don't recommend it. I do recommend a bottle like this, or even, one like this. You can get at Home Depot. This has alcohol, just rubbing alcohol in it. And then also my dirt. I did not bring the snow down yet, but I do also use the snow from Woodland Scenics. And it comes in a big shaker bottle like that too. And that I use the most of. That and sometimes Apartment 56 snow. All right, I'll put those over there. So you can see, move these off, because I'm going to put some rocks down. I need to know where the buildings are. Sometimes you can get carried away, and before you know it, you have decorated your platform, or landscaped it. You've done a very good job, and then the houses don't fit because you have gotten carried away. So I have a little pencil here. It's actually a colored pencil, but that's fine. What I'm going to use the pencil for is to make sort of an indentation in the foam that will tell me where not to put stuff. So right here, and what this is for is only for things like rocks or bushes, because the snow is going to go everywhere. So it's okay if the snow goes over that and then we cover it. That's actually preferred, trying to blend this snow with the Woodland Scenic snow to create a more seamless look. But this right here that I'm doing is just for, let's just move that guy off. Come around here. Can't really see the back, but I'm just tracing around the back. So that when I move this, there we go. There, and then I'll remember that this is the parking area. So the weary travelers that come have somewhere to park their coach. The pink foam, this is the pink foam you get from Home Depot. And it takes a little bit more elbow grease to carve into. But now, I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit. I don't know how well you can see, but it's like right here. I can see it when I'm looking down, and I can feel it that it's right there. So I won't put a rock, say I won't glue a rock right here, right in the middle. Which, yes, you could get it off, but then it takes up paint. And so it's a lot easier to not have to repair stuff if you do it right the first time. All right, so off camera, I went ahead and did the other ones. And so now, though it may not show up on camera, I can see for the observatory, I can see and I can feel the lines. So I'm not going to glue anything there. All right, now for the glue from Woodland Scenics. You always have to shake it up. You can use Elmer's glue and water with about 70% water, 30% Elmer's glue. Not an exact science, I don't measure. But I personally find that their glue works better. They probably put something else in it. Maybe not, but it feels like it works better. So occasionally, guys, you will have to clean this out. Yes, I just sprayed over here, but that's great. I don't want to spray on my buildings. That would be not so good. All right, our first part. I like to use a sort of dirt. This is fine ballast in brown, but you, of course, can pick anything that you want. Make it a mess, mostly. I think I'm going to make the parking lot different, actually, which is a thought that I just had literally right now. That was out of the way, you could see. I'm just carving this in. I literally just had this thought, and I do have some black, I can't think what they're called now off the top of my head, but Woodland Scenics has like a black cinders or whatever, and I'm going to do that. Oops. Okay. I don't think I have any glue like right here because it is really close to my water, and I don't really want to spray a bunch of glue in there. Full disclosure, you should probably, when you make your own platforms, do your water part last, but that unfortunately is not the way my brain works. So every year, there we go. All right. And then once the glue dries, once it has a chance to dry, I'm going to take the platform, I will tip it, I will tap the back of it, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I've turned the platform around. Okay. And I'm just pouring around my shape right here. There's no reason to pour underneath it because it's going to be covered up. All these little details are important to your final build because when you go to film it, or even if you go to take pictures just for yourself, you don't have to film it, but you do film it, you're going to want it to look nice on camera. And then by the time you get all the buildings on, it's probably going to be too late. All right, so I'm going to spray my alcohol, just rubbing alcohol. This is supposed to, I feel like it works. It's supposed to get sort of go down in between the layers and then allow the glue to stick better. Although I feel like mostly what I might be doing is making a mess. But that's the unglamorous part of Christmas villaging, y'all, is all this. There we go. All this other stuff. And right now, you can see, we'll try again at 20. This has now dried. I did take it outside and I tapped the back of it gently to help get off excess. If you don't do that when you are working, everything will go all over the place. All right. Back with our handy dandy glue. I'm going to give it a good spray. Don't be scared to put enough on there. And this, the static grass, again, you could use the Woodland Scenics has like a static grass applicator, which makes this stuff stand up. But since I make new platforms every year, I don't want to invest in that, at least not yet. And in my village is, the name is Oakwood, and it was founded by Mr. and Mrs. Oakwood. And they founded a town in the mountains, in the north, somewhere up north, not quite sure where. But all the grass and stuff is dead in winter, so it sort of lays down. So that's my story anyway. If you want, I would highly suggest making up your own story. Makes it more real. Makes the figurines more real. I have actually a Mr. and Mrs. Oakwood figurine. When it gets closer, I can bring those out and I can show you which ones they are. I get really into this. Okay, so I'm trying to get all the way right up next to the stairs, because again, the stairs were is getting right up to it because that originally was a rock in my brain and went, ooh, we could carve it because this is a very rural area. It has to be because the observatory is going to sit up top and you can't have an observatory in the middle of town with the lights, even just the lights from the shops, you're not going to be able to see as well. So it has to be somewhere else. You see the difference here of this with the brown with the wild honey woodland scenics versus just the brown. Okay. It's really starting to sort of take shape, look like a winter ground cover. I do have one other static flock that I want to put on because even in winter, it's not 100%, dead. There is going to be a little bit of green. And then our last part will be the snow. So I'm going to finish this up off camera because you saw me do it here. And then before I do the next color, I'll be back. Take our alcohol again. We're going to give it a liberal spray. Okay. Again, I do this. I saw this on a different channel, and it's supposed to sort of break up the grass or whatever cover you put down to help the glue be able to get all the way through so it doesn't just get stuck sort of on top. It seems to work, so that's what I recommend. Take your glue again, because now that you've sprayed the alcohol, hopefully, we are doing something. We're opening up some of the grass so the glue can get all the way in there and glue all of the things down so it doesn't move when you move your platform later, whenever you start setting up. And then we'll just leave that to dry, and then we'll come back with the next coat. We are going to do our static grass. This is a pale green. Shake up the glue again and go to town. Spraying. Spray, 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 spray. And you can do it however you want, but in my particular village, there's not that much green grass. We are going to have some green plants that are from the evergreen family. So they stay green, all year, evergreen. But for the most part, see some brown and the sort of tan color. And my alcohol again. It's just the rubbing alcohol that you get at the store. Nothing special. So hope you can see. Here. Hope you can see the difference here in adding some versus none up there. All right, I have now a few of the rocks we're going to be using, and they're like this big, so you know, can just sort of place them around. I would say there wouldn't be too many rocks like over here, or the places people might walk or the carriages might be. You know, because those, oops, more than likely would have been cleared away, right? I mean, maybe there's like, you know, sort of an outcropping, right? Maybe they have to, I don't know, maybe they have to sort of go around or something. And your glue will sometimes form this and you just peel it off. We're back with our scenic glue. And this will be just perfect. It will dry clear, so you will not see this. Don't worry, we're going to put more grass over this once it dries. For me, part of this is sort of just seeing, you know, where this goes. Let's add another one. All right. Add a couple more. Add a couple by the stairs. Okay. Zoomed in a little bit so you could see a little bit easier. Just got 2 rocks. I'm just gonna push them up against the stairs a little bit. The main thing, of course, is to just make sure that you're not blocking something that you might need later. The thing is, I don't put rocks in the pathways because that will make your carriage possibly fall over when they roll over it. Okay. I also have green lichen. It's light green. Oh yeah, this will work really nicely. Let me show you. Let me show you. Look at that, how it kind of just, is this number? And I'm just gently spreading it out. You could, it will come apart. You can tear it. Keep in mind, I have no real plan in my head. I just do things, see if they work. And sometimes they work okay, but they don't work fantastic. And if things don't work out, the way you really want them to, well, that's okay. Most things you can take off, or you can try again. I do also have the lichen in the, oops, if I can get it, natural color. So, interesting. Green didn't have that stuff. I don't know if I like that stuff. Who knows? I don't know. Do whatever you want. Probably keep it for something else, but not what I'm actually going for. The package says you can put it on trees, but I'm not putting it on trees. I'm trying to make it, sort of like this. But because I want it mixed in, we are going to have to sort of pull it apart so that I can, make it like some parts are dead a little bit and then other parts are good. So something like this. And then we'll glue it, onto there. We're gonna start with this one, the light green hanging foliage. So I'm just gonna take my little clippers and do things like clip right there. See how that looks right there. Those are kind of big. Those might be too big. We'll see. All right. So maybe like this. Maybe we've got, some growing vines here. Okay, so maybe there's something like that. I kind of like that. See? Oh, this actually just comes off. It looks like, there we go. So, there. And we can, after I get several, I will then get the glue and glue them on. Oops, that one didn't quite come off too. That's okay though. Most of these do come off. All right. Okay. I have my hot wire styro glue, which is made for styrofoam, but because of its quick adhesion, I like to use it for a lot of other things. So I'm just going to take a dab of glue. A little bit more than a dab, actually. And put it right there so that it will stay. Whoops, there we go. And now, I'm just getting a little more glue. It does kind of get stringy. You have to be mindful of that as you go. And even if this doesn't look super fantastic when you first start, remember that things tend to get better as you add more of them, right? So just squeezing the glue off camera because it's a little bit easier to do to the position of the camera. All right. I'm only gluing the top. I'm not really gluing the bottom. There we go. Sort of like when you start a project, you know, and you go, oh, I don't know about that. Just keep at it a little bit. And if you really go, you know what? That looks terrible. I don't like it at all. You can start over. You can pull those off. One reason I'm not gluing the whole thing down, they'll be easier to pull off if it's not quite up to snuff. I think these are coming along really well. This isn't where I intended these to be, but I think this is going to work. I do have some other vines that I'm thinking about for the rocky area. Make sure to walk around too your whole piece, because there's kind of a big gap right there that was hard to see. Whoops, this one's wanting to leave. The good thing about this particular glue is that it sticks very, very quickly. So I'm actually just putting sort of a lot right on top. It does dry clear, and it doesn't dry like gloopy. It's a technical term there. So you're not going to see it. Oops. There we go. That's all right. And then we're going to move that just the tiniest bit away. Whoops. From that. There. There's a lot of whoops in my world. Stuff just happens. There we go. I'm just gonna take some more. I don't ever want to clip necessarily too much because that might be more than what I was really after. And because that is shorter and I don't want it just laying all over the place, we're gonna trim that and just sort of tuck that right in there. That might actually be a bit too short, but that's okay. All right. I think we're almost done. I think, I don't know, maybe one more. That'll be good. Uh-oh. It's trying to come off. There we go. I should probably have worn gloves for this particular thing. Okay, that doesn't want to stay. That is all right. Just pull it off. We'll start again. Okay. Try again. There. So now we've got some sort of creepy vines. They're climbing over stuff. We'll probably also add some, maybe like right over here somewhere. And then we will dust it all with snow, and to prevent the snow from getting, all over this, we can cover it up. I like parchment paper. You could use wax paper, something sort of with a non-stick type of film would be great. Okay, guys, so here's how my brain works. I'm looking right here at this side, and it's like, I mean, it doesn't really grow out of rocks. Maybe it does. I don't know. But I sort of want to put something on the other side. And so I'm going to use the mini boxwood stem, which you can, again, find at Michael's. I'm just going to cut one, I don't know, 1.5 inches, 2 inches. And yeah, so that's probably the highest that I would go. And then, you just clip from there. Okay, so I've cut several now, some more like maybe 1 inch, and I did go ahead and put my gloves on. I also did off camera, I added some of the static grass over the rocks just to give the illusion that, maybe the rocks had been there a really long time and they've sort of got some grass growing over them. Now this will be a bit easier because we're just sticking this down. They're not necessarily growing, up and over, right? They're not a climbing plant. If you have a climbing plant, you know what I'm talking about. I think that'll be, that'll be a good first spot if I can get it to stay. And whoopsie, don't fall in the water. Sometimes you have to talk to your plants. I do this with gardening too. I talk to my plants, especially when they're doing well. But fake plants are the best ones to take care of because they're the easiest. They don't die on you. Oops, I have to hold that there for a minute. There we go. String. So see what a difference that makes? Just if you go back a tiny bit in the video before, right, versus now, that's really popping, I think. And I only put 3. if you were going to do a 3D display, like a 360 display rather, where somebody could walk around the entire area, maybe you might want to put like maybe one more. I don't know if I want to put one more over there just yet. Although I do know that I might want to put one here on. Please know that I have no plan. Okay, I just come in here, I go to Michael's, I see things, I get ideas, and I just go for it. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't work. Whoops, saw that fall over. Out of the corner of my eye. That's okay, we will. It's because there's no like good base for this, which is why it falls over. But it will stand up. It'll stand up. You just have to, sometimes get enough glue going. And you know what? It wouldn't be complete if there wasn't something there. You know what I mean? If you guys have any questions about anything, where to get any of this stuff, like the glue, leave me a line in the comments. Every time I let go of this, it wants to stay up. See, this is real life villaging here. It's going to fall over again. I know it. Watch, here it goes. Okay, this is me and my brain trying to figure out how to make this stand up the correct way. Oh, goodness. Okay, I just pulled off the rest of the glue. It gets kind of goopy. Okay, you know what would probably work? Oops. Is if I'm going to cut one of these really small ones. Okay, like this big. And there should be, yeah, there's enough glue. I'm going to kind of stick 2 behind it, right? And then that should, we're going to very carefully still fail at this. Oh my gosh, I think we've got it. Nobody breathe for 5 seconds. Okay, whew. Now, I'm going to glue some of these guys like onto here. Not near as many, and we're going to stay away from that guy because that's a hot mess. Oh no, I accidentally touched it. Y'all send help. Oh my goodness. I have a plan in my brain, and sometimes it's like, nope. I know what you want, and we are not doing it. Okay. Okay, new plan. Take this off. I'm going to cut the glued part right here. We're just going to cut it, and I can just go away. We'll throw that away or whatever. Do something with that. New plan. I'm going to put the glue on the back. There we go. There. Haha. Nope. Maybe. Okay. Oh no, there's glue strands. Pick those off. And again, we're going to cover all this in snow. I always do snow last because I like snow to be the finishing touch. Okay, extras. I don't know. We just, more is better. There we go. And here we're just gonna do, hopefully, hopefully just a little bit. Maybe I got carried away over there on the other side. I don't know. I don't know. As Bob Ross says, and my motto for certain things, you know, we don't have mistakes. Yeah. And we can put that right in that little crook here. Okay, so I've put a little glue right there. Okay. Get the glue off. That. There we go. Okay. There we go. I'm going to use the stick in here just to get it. Whoops, position that down. All right. Ah, like I said, maybe I got carried away on this other one, but it was just, I was having a lot of fun. Welcome to my brain. See, I don't want that, like, girl, we need a different, you know what we need? Remember I showed you our lichen? Let's try it. This is sort of the theme of my village, is like, let's try it. I'm just gonna lay some down, right? Whoops, not go in the water. Can't see it if it's in the water. That wants to be difficult, doesn't it? Maybe. Maybe that'll work. All right, we're gonna switch glues to the Scenic glue by Woodland Scenics. There. This will also dry clear. So okay. Yep. And again, this dries clear. I am not worried about like, oh no, there's like random weirdo pieces of glue. Also, if you know, anything else, put some snow on top of it. I'm gonna switch to a little bit of this. I don't like that one actually. Making it hard. The glue is sticking to my fingers. Here's another reason for gloves. So I've sort of torn, that's kind of almost too big. About like that big. Very small. Very, very small. Okay. It feels, the texture of this almost feels kind of like rubbery. It's weird. I'm just gonna, we probably should have done the lichen first. Again, this is not how my brain works. It does not work in any sort of logical fashion, which is why we did the pond first before we put all the stuff down, and then we had to cover it while we were spraying. That is not how we roll around here. Thanks. I don't know if you can even see that. Okay. So I'm just gluing, trying to glue, like this part here. There. So what I'm going to do, really like this lichen. It looks really cool. Michael's does also have a different, similar thing, a moss that you can use as well. We don't know which one is more cost effective, but I have both, but I'm trying out my lichen because, well, it's new, you know. Okay. I don't know. Again, this is just how my brain works. I've taken a bigger piece and I just pulled it apart. I don't know. Let's find out. What do you think? That could be terrible. Let me know in the comments if you guys have ever used this product and if you like it or not. The jury is still out for me on this. I mean, I have it, so I'm going to use it, but I don't know. Would I rebuy it? I'm still thinking, because Michael's does have a lot of really good stuff, and they have coupons. Oops. There we go. There. And again, you don't have to worry. There we go. About being able to see the glue. It's going to dry, especially once you get your snow on, or more grass or whatever, right? Here. What if we put, again, probably should have done the lichen first, but welcome. Welcome to my world here of craziness. Let's see, now that we've got some, maybe we need a little, you know what I mean? It goes down a little further. What do you think? There we go. That sticking up really bothers me for some reason. Lichen doesn't do that. It sort of sticks to rocks. There. And this is your village, so, you know, whatever you want to do, go for it. Winter Wonderland, you could make a modern village. Mine is a historical village, which I may or may not have told you yet, but if you've seen my other two videos, it's a historical village. And that's what I like to do. Some people don't put snow in theirs. I do. Probably because where I live, there is no snow for winter. And I want snow. Okay, guys, I think a little bit more, but I don't want to get too carried away. This happens to me quite frequently, actually, as I sort of get carried away on things. And then I'm looking at it later going, you know, you didn't need that much stuff. Let's try this guy now. The bush, you know, that we had pulled off earlier. Maybe, oh, yes. You know, maybe I don't know, maybe is there one that lives there? I think maybe we need something like right here. Obviously not a vine, of any sort. But it is a water. There's like water, so plants will be over here wanting to get in on this, right? Just off screen here, off camera, I'm going to clip some very short ones, and I personally like variety. So also with my trees that you've probably seen, I don't like just one kind of tree. I like all kinds of trees, all of these varieties of trees. The blue spruce, that one's really pretty. I like that one a lot. Not in my area, but it's very pretty. There's this like bald spot up here. I don't know, my brain just sort of went off the rails. And you're coming with me. If you're still watching, thank you so much. I know this is a longer video than some of my other ones I've put out. Personally, I like a longer format, but I know it's not for everyone. If y'all don't care to see this part, just skip to the end. If you, prefer the shorter ones, just skip to the end because I'm gonna do a pan around. We're gonna move this so you can see the stairs. Helps take the cap off of the glue. Oh my goodness. If the glue dries, it's fine. We'll just put more, but usually it's good. It's good. Okay, I cut one of these. Okay. Guys, this is why, for those of you that village, you probably understand, but this is why it takes me so long to get my village done. I feel a little bit behind right now with everything that we're doing. Again, I don't see things like I have to do it, and then my brain's like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if, X, Y, or Z was there? And I'm like, oh, that would be fantastic. Yes, let's do it. And then it's like, oh, by the way, you've already put stuff there, so congratulations. You've now made it more difficult on yourself. Okay. I think this calls for more lichen, honestly, right? Like this whole area right up here. Let me just zoom in. I hope you can see this part here that I've kind of zoomed in and we're putting stuff on. And I really like it. And this time we're going to try to learn. Let's do the lichen first. Over here. Sorry, I put those on. I thought the camera was over and then it wasn't. Sorry about that. Okay. 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 Okay, and we haven't even touched all the stems. I think the fern one might be for a different platform. Okay. Okay. And there. I had to turn the platform so you guys could see it. Whoops. Let's not do that at the last minute. Let's not screw it up. Let's not screw it up at the last minute. Okay. Again, I'm going to take this little plastic and sort of pull it over because it's not stuck. There. And this one too. Okay. There we go. Again, these stairs were sort of carved. My story. I make up stories, by the way, for my village. And one of my stories is for this platform. This is in the country. You've already seen the observatory, right? And this is, they noticed this would be a great spot for the observatory, but oh no, we need some sort of way to get up there, right? And so they found this, they saw this hill, and they thought this would be perfect for stairs. I don't envy the poor workmen that had to haul everything up because they didn't build a ramp, it looks like. They just did stairs. Okay, guys, to finish this up, we're going to put snow and we're also going to put our gravel down right about here. So to do that, you can use any number of glues. I'm just using this one because I have it handy, my spray glue. And this, I put in a bag because it's just a lot easier. Once the Woodland Scenics bag is open, they're not really resealable. So this is easier. And I'm just taking and dropping these in. This is going to be my sort of parking lot. Oh, I don't guess in the Georgian era, they would have called it a parking lot, but that's essentially what this is, where the carriages will be. Again, I'm wearing gloves because I don't like mess, and this is very messy. And now I'm going to go in with the alcohol and spray that down so that when I spray the glue, it can get down into all the nooks and crannies and really keep it in place. And now you're going to take the glue and give it a liberal spray to really saturate it and get in there so it does not move later on. So it does work. You just need patience. It's saturated. You can probably see it's even more so in person. It's almost gray with the color of glue and the black, but it's saturated, and once it dries, we'll be able to move on. I'm just trying to scrape off some of these black pieces where they don't go. All right, now we're ready to finalize it, to put some snow down. And I've got this sifter, which is very fine mesh. And this is great because the snow that this comes in, you can buy one of their shakers if you want to, but see how this, whoops, has just the big holes. It'll come out in clumps. The other side is just a pour. All right, get our handy dandy glue bottle. We're gonna start right here. Okay. Again, it does not matter if glue or anything gets on here because the building is gonna cover it. I feel like mostly what I'm doing is making a mess. Which is one reason working in the garage is preferable for me. Easier to clean up. Okay. We'll go ahead and actually put some snow on here because, you know, it has snowed. All right, that's good. I don't want to put too much because then you can't see the black. And it's okay if you spray over your rocks. Whoops, I'm just trying to avoid spraying like right here. But it's okay if you spray over these guys because there's going to be snow on them anyway, right? But even if you don't put snow on them, say you don't want to put snow, you don't have to. It'll dry. The glue's not going to hurt anything. All right. Got our shaker. And this just spreads much more finely, more evenly. Okay. Okay. And yes, it's snowing everywhere. I got some snow on my lake, which I don't really like. So, because even in winter, the lake is not actually frozen. So I do have a tool right here. I do have a tool called the Model Vac. And I'm going to use that to vacuum it up. If you don't have one, or you don't want to get one, you could use like a damp paper towel. But I decided to go ahead and get that. I don't have all the tools yet, but soon. I hope to have all the tools. Makes life easier. Okay, there's my snow. So I never do 100% snow. Maybe 1 year, but it is not this year. Maybe 1 year I will. Maybe even for the estate area. Maybe we'll experiment together and I'll do all snow, like 100%. All right. So there's that. I think I may even put more snow. We'll see. But I kind of like the differentiation in color. But that's me. You may prefer a village that has 0 snow, or you may want one that is 100% snow. For those of you that maybe skipped to the end of the video to see the finished result, here you go. I have added a little bit more snow. I did actually take off some vines because I like the rock showing through the more I thought about it. And, you know, here's the